solutions for the practice problem solving equations 1 through 25. All right. X plus 10 equals 21 half. Right off the bat, we notice we have that fraction. In order to get rid of that fraction, we want to multiply a number on top that'll cancel it out. In this case, since there's only one of them, that number is 2. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So there's no fraction here, so 2 times x is just 2x. No fractions here, so 2 times 10 is 20. However, here, the 2 on top and the 2 on bottom cancel. They give me 1, and then 1 times 21 is just 21. And now I have a two-step equation. Opposite of 20 is negative 20. So you get rid of the number part first. Now 2x equals 1. Now I get rid of the number in front by doing the opposite operation. So x equals 1 half. Number 2. Okay, I like it written like this where I can see the fraction. Now, we don't need to get rid of the fraction here because this is just a one-step equation. You should recognize this from 7th grade in our work this year. All I have to do to get the x by itself is get rid of the 5. So all I have to do here is multiply by 5. Now notice, that is what we do when we have fractions. It's just in this case, it's already done. X equals negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so number 3 is the same type of problem. So again, I'm going to write it so I can see that denominator. Okay, divided by 4. So the opposite is multiplying by 4. Okay, those cancel. And I'm left with x equals negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 4 is 4. Do the sign first. Don't get problems wrong because you're forgetting your signs or your integer operations. Okay, number 4. That's just a simple two-step equation. So I get rid of the number part first. And then I get rid of the other part. 7x equals negative 28. Divide by 7. And x equals negative 4. Number 5. 2x plus 10 equals negative 4. So, this is just a two-step problem. Remember, you have a set of notes or a series of steps that we went over back in December, and we've been using them ever since. Check for fractions, check for distributive property, check for combining like terms, check for variables on both sides. And then, if you do all of that, then you have a two-step equation. Well, when I asked Mr. Butler, when they do two-step and one-step, he says, oh, here, that's this, two-step. So I know that I simply take the opposite of the number as a negative 10 on both sides. So that gets rid of the number part. So I have 2x equals negative 14. Now, just like we did in linear equations, just like we've done since the beginning of the new year, okay, after Christmas break, we're still doing the same solving equation. I divide by 2, I get x's. Make sure your integers are right. Negative divided by positive is a negative 7. You're going to have plenty of this work in algebra, so just writing answers down isn't going to help you. Okay, negative 6x plus 9 equals negative 9. Well, this again is a two-step equation. There's no fractions. There's no parentheses, so no distributive property. If I draw this line, x's and numbers are different, and then numbers are, so I can't do any combining like terms. I don't have variables on both sides, so this is just a two-step. Opposite of positive 9 is negative 9. I'm left with negative 6x equals negative 18. Okay? I have negative 6 in front, so I divide by negative 6. This should be well ingrained into your memory by now. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Except for a few of these problems, I can go into fractions and a few of them with bigger numbers. It should take you a minute to 2 minutes to solve a few of these. Okay, over here, I have same change opposite, so I'm going to deal with that. Right, it's still a two-step equation. It's just that the number term is first. So I got to get rid of the negative 2, so that's a positive 2. They cancel, left with negative 2x equals negative 6. Okay, I have a negative 2 in front, so I divide by negative 2. And another reason why I wanted you to write these separately is because when you do math, sometimes being sloppy, unorganized, will cause mistakes when normally you wouldn't make them. So you got to give yourself plenty of room. Okay, I'll do number 8. We have a 6 on the bottom. So how do I get rid of a 6 as a denominator? Multiply by what? Yeah, I multiply by the number that'll cancel it out. So I multiply each term by 6. So there is no fraction here, so 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, this 6 on top and that 6 on the bottom cancel because 6 divided by 6 is 1. And then 1 times that other numerator is 1x. Okay, 6 on top, 6 on the bottom, that's division. 6 divided by 6 is 1. And 1 times 37 is 37. And there you go. Now we have a simple one-step equation. I get rid of the 48 by doing a negative 48 on both sides. And I don't need that 1 in front, so I know it's just x. 37, negative 48 will be a negative 11. All right, number 9. 5x plus 6 equals 26. So again, this is just a two-step equation. So I do the opposite of positive 6. I do negative 6. So now I'm left with my variable term. Okay, I have a number in front, so I know I divide by 5. So x equals 4. Okay, number 10. So this is the same thing. Okay, I have negative 7 plus 2x equals 5. So I have, again, a number term. The opposite of negative 7 is positive 7. So that cancels. So 2x equals 12. I have a number in front. So multiply by 2, so I divide by 2. Okay, of course, it's stuff that you guys do in 7th grade all the time. Okay, here I have my subtraction, so I have the same change opposite. So I have positive 4, so I'll do a negative 4 on each side. We always deal with the number part before the variable part. So I have negative 3x equals 3. Okay, I'm multiplying by negative 3, so I divide by 3. You can see that many of these steps are simply repetitive. Here's a big thing that kids still do. They don't do the sign right. They don't think of integer operations. I have positive divided by negative is a negative. Do the sign first and you'll think about it. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay, over to here, another two-step equation. So, positive 8, I do a negative 8 on both sides. They cancel. So I'm left with 6x equals 66. Divide by 6. X equals 11. All right. Number 13, another two-step. Way too easy. So I have subtraction, so I'll do same change opposite. So I have to get rid of the negative 3 because it's the number term. So I do a positive 3. So I'm left with 6x equals negative 21. Positive 3, that's negative 18. I have a 6 as a coefficient in front, so I divide by 6. So x equals negative divided by positive is negative. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Negative 3. Okay, here we have a little tougher one. We have fractions. So we have learned to get rid of the denominator, you have to multiply the numerator by that same number or a multiple of it. So I'm going to multiply every term in this equation by 2 because that's what the denominator is. So now, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times 169 is 169. Fraction done. 2 times 4x is just 8x. 2 times 3x is 6x. All right, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 1 times that 1 on the top is just 1. And there our fractions are gone. But now notice I have 2 sets of x's over here, so I have to combine like terms. So I have 169 equals 14x plus 1. And now it's a two-step equation. So get rid of the number part first. Opposite of 1 is negative 1. So I have 168 equals 14x. Of course, just like all the rest, with the number in front of the variable. So we divide by 14, divide by 14, and x goes here. 14 goes into 16 once. There's a 2 left over. I'm doing short division. 14 goes into 28 twice. So x equals 12. Okay, 15. 9 plus 2x plus 6x equals 25. So we have to combine like terms. So we have 9 plus 8x equals 25, and now it's a two-step. So once you start noticing the same types of equations, it's easy just to continue to do the same steps. Okay, 8x equals 16 divided by 8, x equals 2. Okay, here we have subtraction. Do my same change opposite. Negative 3x, negative 7x is negative 10x. All right. Okay, opposite of positive 1 is negative 1. So I have 40 equals negative 10x. Divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10. X equals negative 4. Okay, 17. Again, I'm going to combine the x's, so I have 7 equals 10x plus 7. I mean, it's just kind of repetitive. That's why sometimes math is boring, because you just do the same things. But remember, next year will be harder, so you need to know this stuff. And next year will be more challenging and more fun. At least it should be. 7 plus negative 7 is 0. So now when we divide anything from 0, we always get 0. Don't have any. Okay, so I have some subtraction here. We do same change opposite. So I have 6x and negative 2x. So I have negative 18 equals 4x plus negative 10. There's our two-step equation. So add 10 on both sides. Remember, number part always before the variable part. Always. So I'm multiplying by 4, so I divide by 4. So x equals negative divided by positive is a negative. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, 19. Now notice this is different. I have variables on both sides, so I have to get them on one side. So I'm going to always take my variables from the right and move them to the left. Some teachers teach you to move the smaller one. They would teach you to move the 5x to the 7x to keep it positive, but we're experts at integers, so this shouldn't matter. So I'm going to take positive 7x and do a negative 7x. This is just like what we did with linear equations when we moved the x's over to get our equation in slope-intercept form. So these cancel. So now I'm going to do this at the same time. I'm now going to bring this number over to the other side. Like my old teacher said, variables to one side and now numbers to the other. So I'm trying to do it all in one step. So I'm left with 5x and negative 7x is negative 2x. And then I'm left with 11 and negative 9 is positive 2. And now we see that that's something we dealt with. Divide by negative 2, and x equals negative 1. So this is, two steps combined in one. So let's do it on this one. I'm going to do a little erasing here. All right, so I do see subtraction there, so I'm going to do same change opposite. All right, so let's take this 3x and move it over to the other side by doing the opposite. Now, we know this number has to go now to the right-hand side. So the opposite negative 3 is positive 3. Okay? So my 3x and negative 3x cancel. My negative 3 and positive 3 cancel. So now I have negative 3x and negative 3x is negative 6x, because you just add them. Negative 63 and positive 3 give me negative 60, and then now I can divide by my negative 6. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay, 21. Well, this has distributive property. So we know that we have to take and multiply the outside times everything on the inside. So 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. 7 times 5x is 35x, and that equals 217. And that's my two-step equation. Easy. So you take care of the number term first. The opposite of negative 7 is positive 7. Then we get 35x equals, what is that, 224? Okay, I'm multiplying by 35, so I divide by 35. And x equals, let me see, I'll have to do that over here. So 35 goes in there about 6 times, that's 0. Okay, so 14/35. So I'm going to double check that because that just looks goofy. So 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. 7 times 5 is 35. I get, I see my mistake. So I see right here that I have a negative 217, and I just didn't see it. So now negative 217 and positive 7, okay, would give me a different number. So this is 35x equals negative 210. Now I divide by 35, and x will equal a negative 6. So see right here, 6 times 35 was my 210. So whenever you get a really goofy answer, those fractions that are not pretty, go back and check. Now you can get those answers, but generally teachers, tests, we don't do that. Number 22, so we're going to do the distributive property. So that's negative 30x plus negative 54. Oh, I see something I should deal with first. There's a fraction here. So I have a 7 on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply everything by 7, but in this case, this is important. This is all one term. These are hooked together. So when I multiply by 7, I'm simply multiplying the outside by 7, not everything on the inside. So that's something you have to practice. So now I have 7 times negative 6 is negative 42, and then the inside stays the same. Now on this side, 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 1 times that negative 558 is negative 558. So the fraction's gone. So that's a little tougher one. Okay, now you can do your distributive property. So negative 42 times 5 is negative 210x. Negative 42 times 9 is negative 378. That equals negative 558. Okay, so our steps didn't change. Our numbers are just rotten. So now we've got to get rid of that number. Turn f to the positive. For negative 378 is positive 378. Do that on both sides. So I'm left with negative 210x. Okay, I have more negatives, so my answer is negative. And then just subtract, and they're already set up. 0, 8, 1. So that's negative 180. All right, divide by negative 210. Divide by negative 210. Negative, divide by negative is a positive. Notice I can get rid of these zeros, and now just simplify. Because 21 doesn't go into 18, so what goes into both? 3 does. So that's going to be positive 6 sevenths. Okay, 3 more and we're done. Okay, let's go ahead and do our same change opposite. Distributive property, so that's 12x plus negative 10 equals 110. And there's our two-step equation. Add 10 to each side. 12x equals 120. And they're coming out pretty easy now. So x equals 10. Okay, now the subtraction, so let's do our same change opposite. Okay, do distributive property. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times negative x is negative 6x, and that equals 30. And there's our two-step equation. Take care of the number part first. Opposite of 24 is negative 24. Negative 6x equals positive and negative. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is positive, and subtract. Okay, divide by negative 6, like we've done, seems like 100 times on this paper. Positive divided by negative is a negative. 6 divided by 6 is 1. And finally, one left. So there's my subtraction. So if you say change opposite. So distributive property. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times negative 2x is negative 10x. That equals negative 100. There's my two-step equation. Opposite 10, negative 10. So negative 10x equals negative 110. Okay, number in front, you divide by it. Negative divided by negative is positive. Get rid of your zeros. 11 divided by 1 is 11. We are done.